All right, a watch that can speak for itself needs no introduction, but I'm going to do it anyway. Hi, this is Tim. Welcome to the 1916 Company, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. And today we are discussing a white gold 2010 model year limited edition of 75 pieces from Jaeger-LeCoultre. This is the Master Grande Tradition, Grande Complication. It is packed with features, and we're going to go over all of them, but fit comes first. Massive at 44 millimeters in diameter in white gold. It's also 16 millimeters thick, 52.8 from lug to lug, with a 23 millimeter spacing between the lugs. The strap is large rectangular scale, symmetrical scale alligator leather, black with a gloss finish. It has some stuffing or bolstering to give it volume. We've got that monotone stitch and a folded edge, calf skin on the bottom, pull tab spring bars so you can remove the strap with no tools, a brand new JLC factory strap with no crimping or gouging. You can see it comes with a matching gray gold buckle. Gray gold is white gold, more on that in a moment. Note the use of polish and satin for a differential effect. And then we get back to the case. Everything is polished with the exception of the brushed repeater slide, which helps to keep the slide itself aligned. You can see there's knurling at the end so you don't slip off of it. And we have these relatively narrow lugs when viewed end-on that are massive and sheer when viewed in profile. Everything is polished. We have a shallow domed bezel and then a crown that features a combination of polish and media blast. The watch has gray gold, which is 18 karat white gold that never needs to be plated with another material like rhodium. So not only does it never need to be plated, but it's the same color all the way through. As white gold goes, this is the good stuff. The dial has an immense amount of depth, so let's start at the top and work our way down. First, you can see where these cathedral-style oversized gongs are welded to the sapphire. So you see that's the anchoring point, and then they're also welded opposite that so that the sound, the energy from the gongs, is channeled directly to the sapphire itself, bypassing the heavy metal case. So sapphire is a very diffuse light material. It's a great conductor of sound, better than steel, better than titanium. As a result, we have this massive white gold watch that has a brighter and louder sound even than a titanium repeater, because the resonator is, of course, the gong and the sapphire in combination. Now, at center, you can see we have this little oval, and whatever, assuming the watch is set correctly, whatever you see inside the oval is the sky as it exists over you at any given time. Now, of course, the stars and the constellations are always there. You just can't see them during the day. But if you were to compare what's on the dial of the watch in this little metallized oval, at night you would notice that it does in fact match the position of the stars and the constellations. So you've got a sky chart. You can see we have little indices as well as hands that are white golds. They won't tarnish or oxidize, and those hands are half frosted, so you have better contrast with the dial base. At center, you can see what appears like it might be the sun. Actually, that little star-like form, it is a star. It's Polaris, though. It's not our sun. Polaris sits right on the Earth's axis of rotation, so when you look at those time-lapse photos of the stars spinning overhead, there's always that fixed point glowing in the middle. That's Polaris. Now, there are two different ways of measuring a day on this dial. One is conventional clock time, the other is sidereal time. So let's talk about those separately. So you can see we have these hands that move clockwise, and they measure conventional 24-hour days. But the tourbillon represents sidereal time, or the passage of a single star twice across a meridian of longitude. And that is actually 23 hours and 56 minutes and 4 seconds. So it moves just a little bit faster than the hands at center. And that is exactly what's being portrayed by the tourbillon. It is a sidereal day. The tourbillon is a flying tourbillon, which means there's no upper bridge to block your view. It includes a couple of features that make it exceptional. First, the fact that it is a flying tourbillon with no upper bridge. Second, the fact that it has an overcoil hairspring, something rarely seen on JLC watches, that helps to cancel out the effect of gravity in almost any position. You can also see it's a free sprung balance, which means all the adjustments are done using variable inertia masses on the rim for better shock resistance and more precise adjustment. You can also see the iridescent blue and green of a full silicon escapement, something hardly ever used by Jaeger-LeCoultre in its entire history, including its modern history. It reduces the mass of the oscillator and its carriage, so it reduces the whole tourbillon's mass. It reduces friction, it reduces the need for maintenance, it improves power reserve, and yes, it improves timekeeping or chronometry. You can also see that this tourbillon here is finished to a degree that you will not experience on any JLC watch priced below $100,000, and that's a prelude to what we're going to see on the Caseback. Now, the dial base is, of course, a sky chart, but it's a guilloche disc with a lacquer fade that gives it sort of a gradient smoked or fumé effect from silver at the center to blue at the edge, and you could see how precise that guilloche cut is on the dial base. Lots to love here. The watch actually operates as an annual calendar, so let me demonstrate this real quick. There's an intermediate position for the crown that allows you to set the calendar independently from the rest of the dial. Note that the little sun tracer and the hands at center are not moving. So when you're setting the annual calendar system, that's important to note. When we go back to setting everything, you could see how it all moves in sync, including the little sun. So keep in mind, we've got a calendar that is annual. It requires only one adjustment per year during the jump from February to March. We have sidereal time, and then we have clock time on the dial side. Turning it all over, you could see incredibly, it's 50 meters water resistant, which is almost unheard of for a repeater. They tend to have no water resistance to better conduct sound. But since this watch doesn't rely on an air link from the inside to the outside, the sound doesn't have to carry through voids in the case where seals would be. It has that welded sapphire gong, so it doesn't need to have a zero water resistance case for sound to escape from its interior. And so we can have 50-meter water resistance. We also have the Master 1000 Hours Control, which is a fully cased up 6-position test of chronometry, power reserve, secondary functions, durability, water resistance, and it is a run-in test that runs in all of the oils and lubricants, lasting 41.6 days. It is far more than the bare movement 5-position 2-week test of a COSC chronometer. We have a 40 to 48 hour manual wind power reserve, a 4 hertz beat rate. Caliber 945 is a 50 joule movement. It includes the innovative trebuchet hammers that Jaeger-LeCoultre first launched on the Grande Sonnerie, a watch that was monstrously complicated but hardly found any takers. This watch, however, is a fully production-ready version of the Sonnerie's system, as we have hammers that move in 2 steps, like a trebuchet catapult from the Middle Ages, the final dogleg kink, where the end of the hammer speeds up in its final shorter arc, creates a harder strike and a louder chime. So that's the idea behind the trebuchet hammers. As you can see, the decoration is far beyond any JLC from the standard series. Anglage, stripes, satination, both fire-blued and mirror-polished screws with chamfered slots in circumference. It features a German silver set of bridges and plates. Now, that's the same nickel-copper zinc used on a Longa, but since we're not in Germany, we're not going to call it German silver. We're going to call it Maillot, which is what it would be called in French-Swiss watchmaking. The movement is large and properly fits the case, and you could see that there's no shortage of nuanced decoration, forms, and styles, including Côte de Soleil, with the sunburst sort of radiating out from an imaginary center point atop the rack and snail system. This is all the money from a value standpoint. It won't cost as much as a Patek Philippe complication of comparable accomplishment, but it will give you every inch the pedigree from Jaeger-LeCoultre, one of the great names in the business. So reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.